Just wanted to let you know you're not the only one who knows pink.
I know you. Is that a real pink or is that like a fake one, a faded one?
No, not fake. Glasses.
You look very sharp.
You look very sharp too.
Mm.
You happy with that?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Sorry. I do. Yes. Yeah. No, I was very happy. Good match for me. I served well from the start, and then also I thought I had good timing on the return in particular after missing a lot of returns in the first match, and in the second match, you know, obviously he was serving bigger granolas, and now today I really thought I was striking it well, and then virtue of that I was getting the first strike in, and then I was able to control the baseline more, so it was a good match for me.
Roger, how easy is it to beat someone continually? It's 19 out of 21 victories over Nikolai, but to continually beat them, does it sort of play in your head?
Yeah, I mean, well, it's different if it would be 18-0, then you always feel like the next one would be the one, right? So I've got that one off my back, but I mean, I guess it's an advantage, it's got to be. So that's why I take the positives out of the match, but out of the previous matches, but then again, every match different, surface changes, sometimes you play at night, some at the day, some with wind, some not. So you can always look back and with a player like Nikolai, you don't quite know what you're going to get, you know. How well is he hitting the ball? I mean, I thought he was really hitting the ball well, you know, getting through to the quarters and the players he beat, you know, so I knew I was in for a tough match. But then sometimes, you know, the better he strikes it, more natural it is for me, and maybe it's a good matchup for me. You know, let's not forget, tennis can be a game of matchups, and you try to be such a good player that you can almost then match up with almost any player. But sometimes it's just the way the player you are. You can only evolve so much against certain playing styles, and maybe that makes it difficult for him against me. I don't know what it is.
Talking about matchups, you're up against British, who's beaten you in a couple of big matches lately, most recently US Open. I mean, how do you approach that, and your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I haven't seen him play much this year, so he's obviously a good player. He's got amazing power, one of the biggest, you know, sort of strongest guys out there on tour, and I think he's really established himself now comfortably, almost in the top 8, you know, if not top 6. So he's really, you know, playing good tennis week in and week out, which still a few years ago maybe he wasn't quite doing that. So he's giving himself, you know, more opportunity against the top guys, and then if you can beat, you know, 1 or 2, you know, every other time, or next thing you know, he's become really confident. Then this is when you can make your next step. So he's put himself into that position yet again, and I've struggled somewhat against him, but very often it's because his game is so big that, you know, he just then sort of has a big say in the outcome of the match, you know. But I've had a couple of other ones where I've been able to come through, so we'll see tomorrow how it goes. I haven't seen him play at all here this tournament, so I need to just focus on my game, I guess.
Roger, I read that you'd given your support to the Olympic bid of squash. Is that the case? And if so, what is it that you like about that sport?
I used to play it as a kid with my dad on Sundays if we had time, or he had time. I always had time when I was younger. And I always enjoyed it, and I played it up until about maybe 6 years ago, not actively, but when I had a chance and I wasn't too tired. Since a few years now I hardly play anymore, just because for safety reasons, you know, but I've always thought it was a great sport, and in Switzerland, I don't know, back in the 80s when I was coming up, you know, it was a big thing. Everybody was playing it, very recreational. Now sort of badminton has gotten bigger, and I think it'd be a huge boost for squash if they were in the Olympic Games automatically, you know. Big countries, I don't know, like Russia or other ones, would then all of a sudden invest more into squash, and that game could take off. Who knows? But I think, you know, I'd be happy personally if they would get the call for the Olympics.
Has it contributed to your tennis in any way? Maybe retrieving
the
forehand side? Or?
Yeah, I mean, for me it was always very natural, more natural than badminton was. I never played badminton much as a kid, except on the beach maybe. But you know, squash has been for me very natural game, and I've always enjoyed playing, you know, racket sports or ball sports for that matter, for coordination. And I think sometimes you can see, you know, that when I play tennis, that I do play a bit of squash as well.
Last question, please.
Nikolai talked last night about, with age, he's started to struggle a bit with concentration over longer games. Is that something you've noticed, or do you actually get bored towards the end of matches, especially when they tend to run away? Like tonight's went very quickly in the end.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't happen so often. Usually, when I lose, I have chances, you know. So very rarely am I down double break and 2 sets to love or something, you know. And if it happens, things are over very quickly, and you can sort of try to forget and move on, and you hope it doesn't happen the following week and the following week. But you know, I think I kind of know what he means. You know, I think once you play 500, 800,000 matches, maybe sometimes you like, you know, you try hard, but it's okay to lose, and that's not the mindset you want to have. You know, even though it's normal to lose some, you always want to have the fire to come through somehow at the end, you know. And so you sometimes just get a bit comfortable, maybe I call it, you know. I have really tried to fight it, you know, all the time, to make sure that I have enough fire going, and the motivation is not the issue. It's funny, it sort of creeps in sometimes on you, you know, because you've done it for so many years. But that's why you need to keep practices exciting, matches, that your daily, your daily routines. Even though you keep it the same way, you have to have fun doing it. Otherwise, it becomes a bit of a drain, you know. And that's where I always change it up, where I've practiced in the past, with who I've practiced. You know, make it fun with my entourage. Now, obviously, my kids is a totally new thing, so it is for Nikolai. So, I mean, those things are inspirational and motivational, I would think.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, my pleasure.
Just do one, yeah.